He who always forgives teaches others to disrespect boundaries. Let's be clear from the start. Goodness alone is not enough to survive in this world. If you think that being a good person is enough to achieve success, you are living in a fantasy. And what's worse, you know it, even if you refuse to accept it. How many times have you felt others wipe their feet on you? How many times have you done the right thing and, instead of being recognized, you were ignored, or worse, used? You were taught that being good is enough, that honesty and nobility are rewarded, but the reality is different. The world does not reward the good. It rewards those who know how to play their cards well, and this is where Machiavelli comes in. Machiavelli understood what most people ignore. Human nature is selfish, volatile, and, when necessary, cruel. In The Prince, he made it clear that virtue without cunning is weakness, that kindness without strategy is a trap. Now tell me, how many times have you fallen into that trap? Think about those you admire, those who have achieved great things. Do you think they did it only with good intentions? No. They did it because they knew how to operate in the shadows when necessary, because they understood that morality is not an obstacle, but a tool. Knowing when to show it and when to hide it is the difference between being a player and being a pawn. The problem is not that you are good. The problem is that you do not know how to defend yourself. You believe that others play by the same rules as you, but they don't. The world is full of predators disguised as friends, opportunists who smell naivety a mile away, and you, without realizing it, have been the perfect target. This is where Machiavelli offers you an alternative: intelligent goodness. It's not about becoming a villain, not about betraying your principles, but about understanding that goodness must be accompanied by a deep understanding of reality. It is about learning to read people, to anticipate their intentions, to know when to trust and when to keep your guard up. Machiavelli said it is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both. And what did you choose? Surely you chose to be loved, to be accepted, to be considered harmless. But tell me, what did you get from that? Not respect, not power. You got that others know they can use you without consequences, because kindness without force does not inspire admiration, it inspires pity. Make no mistake, I am not telling you to stop being good. I am telling you to learn to be good without being naive. Understand that the world does not reward the just, it rewards the perceptive, that true virtue is not submission, but the ability to balance ethics with pragmatism. Machiavelli taught that image is everything. It is not only about who you are, but how others perceive you. If you project weakness, you will be treated as weak. If you project strength, you will be treated with respect. How many times have you allowed others to disrespect you for fear of losing their approval? How many times have you remained silent to avoid conflict, only to realize that this makes you lose more than you gain? It is not about being cruel. It is about being a strategist. The key is knowing when to act, when to speak, when to retreat, and when to attack. Kindness is an advantage when used correctly, but if you let it run rampant uncontrollably, it becomes your worst enemy. The mistake of many good people is that they think the world values purity of heart. It doesn't. The world values power, security, the ability to make difficult decisions. Kindness is only respected when it is accompanied by authority. If you do not have power, your goodness is irrelevant. Machiavelli would tell you not to be a lamb in a world of wolves, not to let your morality turn you into a slave. True virtue is not submissiveness, it is intelligence. It is not about passively adapting, but about shaping your environment in your favor. Think about it. How much longer will you allow the world to wipe its feet on you? How much longer will you be a victim of your own naivety? I am not telling you to stop being good. I am telling you to start being good in a way that benefits you. Learn to move in the shadows when necessary. Know when to smile and when to show your teeth, because the world is not fair, but you can learn to play by its rules and still remain true to yourself. Machiavelli did not write The Prince to teach you how to be evil. He wrote it to teach you how to survive. Now tell me, are you going to continue living in the illusion that goodness alone is enough? Or are you going to start applying true intelligence? And this is where the concept that very few understand appears: the perception of power. It is not enough to be strong, you must look strong. It is not enough to have intelligence, you must project it. Because in this world, reality matters less than the perception others have of you. Think about it. How many times have you seen an incompetent person advance further than a talented one? How many times have you seen a manipulator rise while the noble and hard-working person remains stuck? It is not a coincidence. People do not follow the good or the just. They follow the one who seems to be in control, the one who knows how to manage their image, the one who projects authority, the one who, even if they don't have all the answers, acts as if they do. And this is where many fail. They believe that truth alone is enough, that true competence will speak for itself. But the world does not work like that. The world does not reward those who are right. It rewards those who know how to sell their version of the story. Machiavelli understood this perfectly. It is not only about who you are, but about who others believe you to be. Perception is everything. An insecure leader does not inspire confidence, even if they are the most prepared. An employee who does not know how to assert themselves will never get a promotion, even if they are the best. A man or woman who does not project value will never be desired, even if they have everything to offer. That is why the key is not only to be, but to master the narrative of yourself, to learn to control your image, to create the correct impression in every situation. It is not about deceiving, it is about directing the attention of others to what you want them to see. Think about it. In any social interaction, people do not perceive reality as it is. They perceive it through filters of assumptions, prejudices, and emotions. And the question is, do you let those filters play against you, or do you use them to your advantage? If you are good but look weak, you will be treated as weak. If you are fair but look soft, you will be trampled. If you are talented but look insecure, you will be ignored. It is that simple. The art of perception is what separates those who control their destiny from those who are controlled by others. And here we enter a darker but necessary area: the control of information. Have you ever wondered why the most powerful always seem to know something that others don't? Why those who dominate the game always seem to have an advantage? The answer is simple: because they know when to speak and when to be silent. Naive people believe that absolute honesty is a virtue, that always saying what you think and sharing everything you know is the right thing to do. But the reality is that information is power, and you cannot give away power without consequences. Machiavelli said that the prince must know how to hide his true intentions, not because he must be a liar, but because in a world where everyone seeks an advantage, the one who reveals too much becomes vulnerable. Learn to control what you share, to say only what is necessary and not a word more, to maintain a certain air of mystery so that people wonder what you are really thinking. Because the moment you become completely predictable, the moment others can anticipate your every move, you lose any strategic advantage you might have. The greatest players in history, in politics, business, art, or any other field, understood this. Strategic silence is as powerful as speech. Think of someone you admire, someone who has real influence. Is it someone who says everything? Who completely reveals himself? Or is it someone who always leaves something in the shadow, who always has a hidden card? The problem with many is that they confuse transparency with weakness. They believe that if they don't disclose everything, they are dishonest. But it is not about lying. It is about controlling the flow of information in your favor. Think about it. How many times have you said too much and it has harmed you? How many times have you trusted the wrong person, revealing something that later turned against you? How many times have you given explanations that no one asked for, just to justify yourself to people who didn't even deserve it? The power is not in talking more. The power is in knowing when to speak and when to remain silent. And here lies the great lesson that almost no one applies. The one who speaks the least, the one who explains the least, is the one who commands the most respect. Why? Because silence creates uncertainty. Uncertainty creates curiosity, and curiosity gives power. If you always say what you think without a filter, people will lose interest. If you always explain your actions, people will assume you need to justify yourself. But when you only speak when necessary, when you carefully choose your words, when you leave room for interpretation, people begin to really pay attention to you. And here appears another fundamental concept, the art of unpredictability. Predictable people are easy to manipulate. If you always act the same way, if you are always predictable in your responses, emotions, and decisions, others will be able to anticipate you. They will be able to exploit you. But when you are unpredictable, when people are never sure what your next move will be, you become dangerous. And when you are dangerous, you are respected. Machiavelli understood this better than anyone. A leader who can be read like an open book is a weak leader. But a leader who maintains a certain level of mystery, who changes when necessary, who never allows others to label him, is a leader who stays in power. Now the question is, do you want to continue being an open book that anyone can read, manipulate, and exploit? Or do you want to start being a strategist, one who controls their image, their information, and their unpredictability for their own benefit? Because kindness without strategy is just an invitation to be devoured. The world does not change its rules for you, so learn to play by the rules that really exist, not the ones you were led to believe. And if you do it well, if you apply what truly works, then for the first time, you will stop being a victim of the system and start being one of those who dominates it. But here lies the most interesting part, the art of strategic distance. Many believe that the key to power is always being present, being ubiquitous, attracting attention at all times. But the reality is different. The one who is too available loses their value. Scarcity creates desire. Absence creates influence. Think about it. Why do certain people command more respect just by their presence, while others, no matter how hard they try, never seem to impose authority? The difference lies in the perception of their value. Machiavelli said that the prince must avoid becoming too accessible, not because he must neglect his people, but because excessive familiarity destroys respect. When you are always around, when you give without measure, people begin to take your presence, your effort, your generosity for granted. And this does not only apply to politics or power, it applies to relationships, work, life itself. When you give too much, you become expendable. When you are always available, you become a resource, not a valuable person. Think about it. How many times have you given everything for someone only for that person to take it for granted? How many times have you been there for everyone, only to be ignored when you needed it? It is not a coincidence. It is human nature. What is abundant is despised. What is scarce is valued. That is why you must learn to regulate your presence, dose your attention, manage the perception of your availability. Do not always answer immediately. Do not always be within everyone's reach. Let your absence be felt. Make your presence valuable, because when you learn to disappear at the right time, when you learn to regulate your energy, people will start looking for you. The problem is that most people are afraid to disappear. They are afraid that if they step away, they will be forgotten. But here is the cruel truth. If your only way to be remembered is to always be there, then you were never truly valuable. Those who truly have an impact are not the ones who shout the loudest, but the ones who know how to handle silence, who know when to retreat and when to reappear. Look at any great figure in history. The real players are not everywhere. They do not exhaust themselves in every battle. They appear when it really matters, and when they do, everyone pays attention. And this leads us to another key point: emotional control as a tool of power. This is where most people fail. People believe that control is based on strength, on aggressiveness, on imposing oneself with a loud voice and clenched fists. But true mastery, the one that Machiavelli understood better than anyone, lies in absolute control of emotions, because the one who loses control, the one who reacts impulsively, the one who gives in to anger or anxiety, becomes predictable, manipulable, and weak. Think about the last time someone made you lose your temper. In the moment you got angry, in the moment you reacted without thinking, who had the power in that situation? Not you, the other person, the one who knocked you off balance, the one who provoked your reaction, because the one who controls your emotion controls your actions. And here is the key: the one who cannot be provoked, the one who maintains their internal stability no matter what, is the one who truly holds power. Whether it is in a discussion, in a negotiation, in a relationship, or in any social interaction, the one who maintains emotional control always wins, because the one who controls their emotions controls the perception others have of them. Machiavelli made it clear: the prudent man must act at all times with coldness and calculation. It is not about not feeling. It is about not being a slave to what you feel. It is about not being a reactive animal that anyone can manipulate. And if you apply this correctly, you will become impenetrable. Others may try to get under your skin. They may try to provoke you. But if they cannot move your internal stability, if they cannot predict how you will react, they lose control over you. Here is the truth: those who truly dominate the game are not the strongest. They are the ones who remain calm while everyone else loses their head. And this brings us to the last key point: the power of strategic patience. Most people want immediate results: success now, respect now, power now. But what Machiavelli taught, what the great players in history have applied again and again, is that true power belongs not to those who act impulsively, but to those who know how to wait for the perfect moment to move. The world is full of people who rush, who act without thinking, who make decisions without considering the long-term consequences. But those who really control the game know how to wait. They know how to observe. They know how to calculate. Think of the hunter. He does not shoot at the first movement. He observes, measures the distance, waits for his prey to be in the precise position. Only when the time is right does he strike. This is the game of power. It is not always the one who moves first who wins, but the one who moves at the opportune moment. Machiavelli said that fortune favors those who know how to adapt to circumstances. It is not about running in all directions. It is about knowing when to accelerate and when to slow down. Mediocre people act on impulse. Strategists wait for their opportunity. Now I ask you, are you one of those who rush without thinking, or one of those who waits for their moment to strike with surgical precision? Because in this world, power does not belong to the fastest. It belongs to the smartest, to those who know how to handle perception, information, distance, emotional control, and strategic patience. And if you apply all this, you will stop being a victim of the game and start being a true player. The world will remain ruthless, but now you will know how to play by its rules. But here lies what truly separates those who merely survive from those who dominate their destiny: the ability to become an anomaly in the system. Because now you know. Now you understand that goodness alone is not enough. that perception is everything, that emotional control is a tool of power, that strategic patience beats impulsiveness, and that scarcity increases your value. But what is the use of all this if you continue to act the same as everyone else? If you want different results, you must become someone who does not conform to the traditional rules, not in the sense of breaking them without purpose, but in the sense of rewriting the script. The problem with most people is that they think within the limits that have been imposed on them. They follow the same patterns, they react as expected, they move within what is acceptable or anticipated. But those who truly leave a mark, those who change the game in their favor, are those who dare to be unpredictable, to play by new rules, to do what no one expected. And here is the big secret. The world is designed to devour those who conform. If you do the same as the rest, you will get the same results as the rest. And that means mediocrity. It means being one more forgotten name in the infinite flow of time. The only way to win is to break the mold. Be the one who acts differently, the one who does not react as others anticipate, the one who always has a hidden card, the one who is never fully understood or anticipated. Be the one who, when he speaks, people listen, because his word is not cheap. When you internalize this, something changes inside you. You understand that you were never weak. You simply were not playing the right strategy. You understand that people ignored you not because you are worthless, but because you never knew how to project your value. But now you know. And knowing this is dangerous, because the moment you apply it, there is no turning back. The moment you start controlling your presence, your image, managing information as a tool, using silence as a weapon, you will begin to notice how the world reacts to you differently. The people who ignored you before will start paying attention to you. Those who underestimated you will start wondering what changed in you. Those who tried to manipulate you will start fearing making a move against you because you are no longer the same. Now you are the one who understands how the chessboard works. And here comes the most important decision. Are you going to apply this, or are you going to return to ignorance? Because what separates those who thrive from those who lag is not knowledge, it is action. You can stay here with this information floating in your head as an interesting but harmless idea, or you can start implementing it. The choice is yours. But I warn you, if you go back, if you continue to act as before, you will do so with the awareness that you are choosing to be invisible. You are choosing to remain ignored. Or you can start changing now, small movements, small tests. Apply a little mystery in your interactions. Control your urge to speak too much. Respond calmly instead of reacting emotionally. Retreat at the right time. Observe in silence instead of rushing forward without strategy. Small actions that, over time, will change the perception others have of you. Small actions that, when you least expect it, will turn you into someone who can no longer be ignored. Because the world does not remember those who simply existed, it remembers those who knew how to play the game. Now tell me, are you ready to play it? If you have reached this point, I want to know who really understood the message. Leave the phrase, "The power is in the silence," in the comments. And let's see how many of you understood what it really means to act with strategy. And if this video made you rethink something, if it made you see things from a different angle, subscribe, because this is just the beginning. See you in the next video, and remember, don't be one more player in the system. Be the one who writes the rules.